Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Rolene Marks. This is the Israel Brief, brought to you by Lay of the Land, where we take a look at those top stories making headlines in Israel every Monday to Thursday. So, of course, our top story right now is Operation Swords of Iron, Israel's war with Hamas. So I'm going to share with you rather the latest updates. President Biden is expected to visit Israel tomorrow. This will be his wartime visit. Now, ahead of the president's visit, there have been some of his core members of his administration who have gone down south to assess the situation. The way I read that is that we can anticipate a visit by the president to our southern communities, even though they have pretty much been evacuated. The people have been evacuated at the moment. I think the president is likely to want to see for himself the site of the sheer and utter carnage that took place on October the 7th. Now, we've heard the stories from Kibbutz Kfar Aza, Kibbutz Be'eri, the supernova rave. I anticipate that we are going to be hearing a lot more in the coming weeks. It is going to be very, very, very difficult on all of us to hear the stories, to see the images. But we are in a critical time in our history where barely even 5 minutes after it happened, we had massacre denial. So I ask all of you out there, please, as difficult as it is, to bear witness, to record history so that it cannot be denied and so that future generations will never forget. Israel is also expecting visits by German Chancellor Olaf Scholz as well as French President Emmanuel Macron. Now, we don't have a date when we can expect the French Premier, but we do know that according to his office, he has been in very, very intense conversations regarding the release of hostages being held by Hamas in Gaza. As many of you are aware, Hamas are holding 200 Israelis and foreign nationals, some as young as a couple of months, to Holocaust survivors, to people who have disabilities, whole families, all in their subterranean tunnels or all over Gaza. It is absolutely imperative we get them back. They are not prisoners of war. Prisoners of war implies that they were combatants that were taken. These are civilians being held captive. Meanwhile, last night, Hamas released a video of 21-year-old Mia Shchem from Shoham. Now, I appeal to you, Hamas are experts, are professionals at playing psychological warfare. If you do see this video, please do not distribute it. I know many of our channels here in Israel refused to broadcast it because of the immense emotional toll and psychological toll that it takes on people. However, in the video, Mia Shchem appears to be alive. She appealed to be brought home. She is receiving medical care, having been shot in the arm. She is just 21 years old. Bring her home. Bring all of our hostages back alive as soon as possible. Is Jordan's King Abdullah speaking at a press conference today after he spoke to German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, has said that there will be no allowing of Palestinian refugees trying to leave the Gaza Strip allowed into Jordan or Egypt. He says any refugees let in will be crossing a red line. However, he will be talking to world leaders with regards to humanitarian aid. This morning, Rafah crossing, which is the crossing between Gaza and Egypt, was open to allow in at least 100 trucks of humanitarian aid. Now, according to the Israeli spokesman office, many civilians from North Gaza have made their way to the south. There have been multiple accounts by Palestinians to the army saying that Hamas won't let them leave. Hamas are taking their keys. Hamas are blocking exits. Hamas are detonating IEDs. However, Israel has been giving, I think now, about 72 hours time period for people from Gaza to get to safety. Meanwhile, yesterday, UNRWA, the United Nations Relief Works Agency, which is responsible for taking care of what they call Palestinian refugees, tweeted out that Hamas had taken their fuel, that there was enough fuel to serve hospitals for quite a significant amount of time. They quickly deleted that tweet, but we've all got the receipts, as the kids call it. So it gives you some kind of understanding exactly what we are dealing with Hamas. If they can take the fuel, if they can take any aid, any medicine, anything that's needed to help their civilian population. Yesterday, I reminded you that the health ministry in Gaza is controlled by Hamas, and that they don't make a distinction between who has been killed as a combatant or who has been killed as a civilian. And once more, I want to reiterate, Israel's war is with Hamas, not the people of Gaza. This war is to free both Palestinians and Israelis from the terror entity that is Hamas. Meanwhile, the IDF have continued to strike at Hamas targets in the Gaza Strip. We have no word about a ground incursion yet. However, we do have many reservists making their way to staging positions. Let's take a look at the north as well. There have been several incidents over the last 24 hours where anti-tank missiles have been shot towards Israeli positions. Israel have struck Hezbollah targets in the south of Lebanon. We really don't want to open war on another front, but we do realize that that could be an eventuality, and therefore civilians on the Israeli side of the border within a 2-kilometer radius of the Lebanese border have been evacuated. Israel right now, according to our defense ministry, has about 100,000 internal refugees. People have been evacuated from the north and from the south. Meanwhile, rockets have continued to be fired into Israel, including towards central Israel during the course of yesterday and today. Now, just some other notes, just taking a look around the world. Last night, there was a massive protest outside the offices of the BBC. That's the British Broadcasting Corporation. This was organized by the National Jewish Assembly in the United Kingdom, calling on the BBC to start to use the word terrorist when describing Hamas. They were saying the King used the word terrorist, the Prince and Princess of Wales used the word terrorist. Why can't you? And finally, Ronen Bar, Israel's head of the Shin Bet or the Shabak, has said that he takes full responsibility for the events of the 7th of October. And he said, although there will be time for inquiries and a time for him to answer questions, right now the imperative is fighting. Well, we just want to say thank you, Ronen, for that. At least somebody has taken responsibility. And that brings me to the end of today's broadcast. I want to just thank you all so much for your incredible messages of support, of solidarity, and your prayers. We feel it here in Israel, and it's really helping to boost our morale, really keep us going. Don't forget that we also have a website. You can check it out on www.layoftheland.online. Our Facebook community is at Lottle site. We look a little something like that. Our YouTube channel is at The Israel Brief. If you like us, subscribe to us and share our content. And we're on Twitter at layoftheland5. I'm Rolene Marks. This is The Israel Brief. I'll speak to you all tomorrow. Take care.